Hello friends, in today's video I am going to reveal top 6 mysterious murders of the actress that you don't know. Number 1. Bai Jing attempted divorce fraud. Bai Jing was a Chinese actress best known for her role in the 2010 film Kung Yu Wing Chun, in which she played the Chinese folk heroine Yim Wing Chun. In 2004, Bai Jing met a billion businessman Zhou Chenghai, who made his fortune in investments. Zhou invested a large sum of money into Bai Jing's acting career in order to marry her, though Zhou was still married to another woman with whom he had a son. Zhou divorced his wife in 2006 despite his mother and friends' objections. Zhou and Bai Jing registered the marriage in March 2008. After their marriage, Bai Jing got into an extramarital affair with Qiu Yu, and both colluded to con her husband out of 9.6 million RMB and an Audi. They even took a video of Zhou's alleged unfaithfulness by hiring a prostitute to reduce him to set up a divorce fraud to get alimony from Zhou. In the first day of January 2012, Bai Jing met Zhou's mother at the hospital and told her about her intention to divorce her son. Zhou's mother, upon hearing this, suffered a heart attack and died. This further drifted apart Bai and Zhou's relationship. On 13 February 2012, Bai Jing submitted her divorce proceedings to the Beijing Chaoyang District Court, stating that Zhou has a mistress in possession of pornographic materials, committed domestic violence and many others. She also stated that she was unaware that Zhou had a previous marriage and a son. On 20th February 2012, Bai Jing met with Zhou in their apartment regarding their divorce proceedings. However, Zhou stabbed her 3 times and Bai Jing died on the spot. Zhou phoned his secretary saying that Bai Jing is too vicious. No turning back now. He took his own life shortly afterwards. Qiu Yu was eventually sent to prison for his collusion with Bai Jing for fraud. Number 2. Christina Victoria Grimmie. Christina Victoria Grimmie was an American singer, songwriter, actress and YouTuber. Grimmie began posting covers of popular songs onto YouTube in 2009. She also reached 1 million subscribers on her YouTube channel. On June 10, 2016, Grimmie performed with Before You Exited Plaza live in Orlando, Florida. Earlier that day, she posted a call out on social media asking people to come to the concert. After the performance ended at 10 p.m. local time, Grimmie signed autographs inside the venue. At 10:24 p.m., Grimmie was shot by 27-year-old Kevin James Loibel after initially opening her arms to give him a hug. As witnesses fled the scene, Loibel was tackled by Grimmie's brother and the men scuffled. Loibel broke free, backed against a wall and shot himself dead. Grimmie was on the ground and bleeding from the head. After CPR was performed on her and she was taken to Orlando Regional Medical Center in critical condition with 4 gunshot wounds. She was pronounced dead just before 11 p.m. local time. An auto spy revealed that Grimmie was shot once in the head and twice in the chest. Her death was declared a homicide. Number 3. Karen Kupcinet. Karen Kupcinet was an American stage, film and television actress. She was the only daughter of Chicago columnist and television personality IRV Kupcinet. On the last day of her life, Kupcinet had dinner with further Lost in Space cast member Mark Goddard and his wife Marcia Rogers Goddard at their house on Coldwater Canyon Drive in Beverly Hills. She was due there at 6:30 p.m. but arrived an hour late by taxi cab. The couple said Kupcinet only toyed with her food during the meal. Marcia Goddard told 2 officers from the LA Court Sheriff's Office that during dinner with Kupcinet, her lips seemed numb. Her voice was funny. She moved her head at odd angles. The Goddard also noticed that her pupils were constricted. Mark Goddard told authorities that he confronted Kupcinet about her altered state during the meal, and she began to cry, putting her arm around him. At one point during the meal, Kupcinet told her friends an unsubstantiated story about a baby that had been abandoned on her doorstep early that day. At 8:30 p.m., a taxi cab arrived to take her home and she promised to telephone the Goddard soon. Kupcinet apparently went straight home after dining with their friends. She was visited by freelance writer Edward Stephen Rubin shortly afterward. The 2 men were then joined by actor Robert Hathaway around 9:30 p.m. They told detectives they watched TV, including the Danny Kaye show with Kupcinet. They all drank coffee until she fell asleep, sitting next to them on the couch. She awoke and went to her room. The men either turned the TV set off or simply lowered the volume. 3 days later, it was still playing with a low volume, and they made sure the door was locked behind them before departing at about 11:15 p.m. Hathaway said Rubin and he returned to his place and were later joined by Kupcinet's boyfriend, Andrew Prine, who was also Hathaway's neighbor. The three young men watched television and talked until around 3 a.m. The Goddards went to Kupcinet's apartment on November 30 after she failed to telephone the couple as promised. Mark Goddard stated that he had a funny feeling that something was wrong. Upon arriving at the Kupcinet apartment, the couple found her nude body lying on the couch. Mark Goddard initially assumed that she had died from a drug overdose. Upon searching Kupcinet's apartment, police found prescriptions for Desoxyn, Miltown, Amvisel, and other medications. Authorities also found a note written by Kupcinet that reflected in some detail her emotions regarding issues in her life about parents, self-image, problems with boyfriend, and people she admired. Coroner Harold Carey concluded that due to broken hyoid bone in her throat, Kupcinet had been strangled. Her death was officially ruled by homicide. Investigators from the LA County Sheriff's Office determined that Kupcinet told Andrew Prine by telephone the same story about the abandoned baby that she had told Goddards, and it was a false. Number 4. Monica Spermots. Monica Spermots was a Venezuelan actress, model, and beauty pageant title holder who won Miss Venezuela 2004. She also represented Venezuela at Miss Universe 2005 in Bangkok, where she finished as 4th runner-up. On 6 January 2014, Spare was in her native Venezuela on a vacation with her ex-husband and their 5-year-old daughter on a highway in central Carabobo, when the three were inside the car waiting for assistance after the vehicle had broken down. Spare and her ex-husband were killed during an attempted robbery and their daughter shot and wounded in the leg. The police reported that the incident occurred around 9 or 10 p.m. It has been theorized that the thieves tried to rob them and the couple resisted. On the initial suggestion that her former husband was Irish, the Irish Department of Foreign Affairs was investigating the incident. However, local police said he was traveling on a British passport. The international media also highlighted the rising rate of crime in Venezuela. Number 5. Susan Cabot. Susan Cabot was an American film and television actress. In the last year of her life, Cabot suffered from depression and suicidal thoughts and was prey to a wide range of irrational, powerful fears. She was under a licensed psychologist's care, but the psychologist found her so troubled and ill that the session became emotionally draining. Cabot became increasingly unable to care for herself. The interior of her home was littered with years of trash and spoiled food lay everywhere. In the weeks immediately prior to her death, Cabot's mental health deteriorated significantly on December 10, 1986. Cabot's 25-year-old son, Timothy Scott Roman, beat her to death in her home in Encino, California with a weightlifting bar. He was charged with second-degree murder. At trial, Roman testified that his mother had awakened him while screaming, not recognizing him, and calling for her mother, Elizabeth. When he attempted to call emergency services, she attacked him with a barbell bar. Roman seized the bar from her and beat her repeatedly on the head. He then hid the bar and scalpel and told police that a man in ninja mask had killed his mother, believing no one would believe his story about her mental illness. Roman's defense attorneys claimed their client's aggressive reaction to the mother attack was due to drugs he took to counteract his trophism and pituitary gland problems. At the close of the trial, prosecutors changed the charge to voluntary manslaughter, as no evidence has been presented to trial to support premeditation, which was required for a murder conviction. Superior Court Judge Darlene Eastchamp deliberated 10 minutes and then convicted Roman of involuntary manslaughter. Roman, who had already spent 2.5 years in jail, was sentenced to 3 years probation on November 28, 1989. Number 6. Judith Eva Barsi. Judith Eva Barsi was an American child actress of the 1980s. Barsi began her career in television, making appearances in commercials and television series as well as in the films Jaws, The Revenge, The Land Before Times, and All the Dogs Go to Heaven, providing the voices for animated characters in the later two. Barry's father, Joseph, fled communist Hungary after the 1956 Soviet occupation. He relocated to New York in 1964 and then to California, where he met Maria Virokas, who was also a Hungarian immigrant who escaped the Soviet occupation. They married and then moved to Los Angeles, California, where on June 6, 1978, Barsi was born. Barsi and her mother Maria were killed in July 1988 as a result of double murder-suicide perpetrated at their homes by her father Joseph Barsi. As Barsi's career success increased, Joseph Barsi, an alcoholic, became increasingly angry and would routinely threaten to kill himself, his wife and daughter. His drinking led to 3 arrests for driving under the influence of alcohol. In December 1986, Maria reported his threats and physical violence toward her to police. After the police found no physical signs of abuse, she decided not to press charges against him. After the incident with the police, Joseph reportedly stopped drinking but continued to threaten Maria and Judith. His various threats include cutting their throats as well as burning down the house. He also repeatedly hid a telegram informing Maria that a relative in Hungary had died in attempt to prevent her from leaving the United States with Judith. The physical violence continued, with Barsi telling a friend that her father threw pots and pans at her, resulting in a nosebleed. As a result of his abuse, Barsi began gaining weight and exhibited disturbing behavior such as plucking out her eyelashes and pulling out her cat's whiskers. In May 1988, after breaking down in front of Hansen, Barsi was taken by Maria to a child psychologist who identified physical and emotional abuse and reported her findings to Child Protective Services. The investigation has stopped after Maria assured the caseworker that she intended to begin divorce proceedings against Joseph and that she and Judith were going to move into a Panorama City apartment she had recently rented as a daytime haven from him. Maria's friend argued her to follow through with the plan, but she hesitated due to her fear of losing the family home and belongings. On July 26, phone call with Hansen, Joseph stated he intended to leave the home permanently after saying goodbye to his daughter. Police stated that sometimes between July 24 to 27, Joseph shot Barsi in the head while she was sleeping and then killed Maria. Following their death, Joseph doused the bodies with gasoline and set them and the house on fire, then shot himself in the head with a .32 caliber pistol. On August 9, 1988, Barsi and her mother were interred at the Forest Lawn Memorial Park in Los Angeles. Thanks for watching our video. For more interesting videos, please subscribe our channel and don't miss our latest videos.